Expand your mind and enrich your world. It's time for another outstanding podcast from ICRT. This is Taiwan Talk.
This is Taiwan Talk on ICRT.
Welcome to another podcast edition of Taiwan Talk. I'm Keith Menconi. The first ever winners of Taiwan's own Tang Prize are slated to be announced later this week. And on Taiwan Talk today, we're going to learn a little bit more about the research award, which will grant bigger cash prizes than the Nobel. Starting this year, the biennial award will be granted in 4 different categories: sustainable development, biopharmaceutical science, sinology, and rule of law. To tell us more about the award, we're joined now by Tang Prize Foundation CEO, Jesse Chern. Jesse Chern, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, my pleasure to be here.
So, the award was endowed by Taiwanese businessman Samuel Yin, and winners are going to receive a cash prize of 40 million NT. Could you talk a little bit about why Samuel Yin decided to create the award? What was his goal? What is he hoping the award will accomplish?
Okay. Samuel Yin is a very interesting fellow. The prize is the extension of Samuel Yin's commitment to education. Investment in education is a cherished legacy passed down by his father. So with his father's idea of nurturing and developing human potential in mind, he maintains support to universities in Taiwan and also in China and cultivate talents in the field such as management, medicine, engineering, law, and human rights. So he believed that education is life itself. So he has shown his outlook and life experience with millions of students in the hope they will give back to society by sharing their knowledge as well in the future. So by doing so, he realized that education is the key to driving the social progress. Dr. Yin established the Tang Prize. The prize is committed to encouraging, inspiring minds to explore new perspective and insight to better the world.
So the name of the prize is the Tang Prize, and that is named after the Tang dynasty. That's part of Chinese history. Why was that dynasty chosen as a symbol of the prize?
The 10 of the 10 prize represents the open-mindedness and the tolerance for which the Tang dynasty was known. Under the Tang emperors, Eastern and Western cultures began an exchange in terms of the commerce, government, and cultural that gains the respect and admirations of generations following Tang dynasty. So the determination and confidence, the benevolence and the magnanimity of the Tang dynasty and its people, these qualities are precisely what the Tang Prize represents.
So let's take a look at the categories that the awards are going to be granted in. Like I said in the introduction, you're going to be granting awards in sustainable development, biopharmaceutical science. So that kind of science is medical products derived from biological sources. For example, research into DNA or vaccines or blood transfusion. Then also research into sinology and rule of law, so more research into law and legal systems. Can you talk a little bit about how these categories were chosen? Why are these the categories that Dr. Yin decided he wanted to grant prizes for?
Yeah, there are many challenge issues we are facing in the 21st century, and we need to find the solutions. For example, the climate change causes the water resource, energy, and bring in many mega disasters. Okay, so sustainable development is a key issue, major topics in 21st century. That's why we have the prize in sustainable development. Okay, and then in this generation we have birds, flu, AIDS, and many new and widespread diseases. In order to improve the life, and with the new technology in biopharmaceutical field, science field. There are many ways you can treat, can diagnose for this new type of disease to improve the human health. So we have the prize in biopharmaceutical science.
I'm just curious.
Yes.
You know, the Nobel Prize, they do have a prize in medicine.
Okay.
What's going to be different about this prize from the Nobel?
I think the Nobel Prize focus on the funding creation very much. If he found the disease, the cause for the AIDS, for example, then he could get the Nobel Award. But for the Tang Prize, we define that you should have found the treatment. Okay, you solve the problem and to improve the human health, and then you can get the Tang Prize.
So it's about solving the problem, not just identifying the problem.
Yes. Then we have the prize in sinology. I think the sinology is getting popular to the world. Okay, more and more people look at the life from the Oriental point of view, and we encourage the study of sinology all over the world. In fact, many scholars in Europe and U.S., in Japan, they are very good in sinology research. So this award is to the world. So
it's not necessarily, going to be people studying Chinese culture in China or in Taiwan. It could be there's good research coming from all over the world.
Yes. As long as they have contributions in this area. And the last one is the prize in rule of law. This is also a brand new great prize in this area. As all individuals are all born equal, and everyone, including states and international organizations, is accountable to the law. So the purpose of this award is to encourage the realization of the rule of law in contemporary societies through the influence or the inspiration of the work of the candidates.
Yeah, and this one especially is a little bit striking to me because I would never think of lawyers or people who study law as necessarily people that are really making a big contribution to society. Yes. But I've read a little bit about this, and I think that that's a misconception. This really does affect society in a lot of ways.
Yeah, rule of law is very important to the world. In developing countries or developed countries, they all have problems in rule of laws. You see, many countries are still in the fightings, and they are not democratic, or even they are democratic, but still many more to go in this area. So encourage people or institutions, they are devoted in this area for a better world.
So a sense that I have when I see these, because a lot of these categories are not categories that are covered by other major prizes, is there any way that, were these perhaps chosen in a sense because they were not already taken, because these are areas that you felt were underserved or undersupported?
We select all these areas with foresight. We see the future need, and also we want to solve the problem in the 21st century. For example, in a Nobel Prize, they provide physics or chemistry. So it was 100 years ago. So at that time, they think in this area are important, even up to now. But they encourage very fundamental research. But to 21st century, right now, due to the global interrelations and the airplane, so the time, the boundary between people, it's been changed. So we had to look at the new solutions, new way to see, to think. So that's why we select all these for area which we think is important for the 21st century and also to the futures.
So it's like almost like an update of our priorities of what we should be focusing on for 21st century problems.
Yes.
So now I want to talk a little bit about the selection process. First, can you talk a little bit about the selection committee? I know that they're overseen by Academia Sinica. Yeah. How is that selection committee put together?
Okay. We are very pleased to have Academia Sinica to work as the selecting bodies. They are very distinguished institutions in the world. And they set up the selecting committees with 4 individual groups. And the group members were invited and selected by name. And all these members are international well-known. Many of them have won the Nobel Prize before, or the president of maybe the academic of engineering or science. So many of them are international prestigious people. And they said these 4 teams working independently, and they make the decisions. And the foundation, respect their selection. Oh,
so the foundation itself isn't involved in the decision-making process?
Completely not, yeah.
even though you're not involved in the decision-making process, can
Yes.
you talk a little bit about what criteria they're using to decide who's going to be the laureates?
First, we in some area they have to have some creations, but the impact and contributions to the society is a major concern. That means it's not simply an idea. You got to do some things. Okay, following your actions and process, you eventually did solve some problem and receive high recognitions. So that's the criteria.
So it's more about solving an actual problem. We already touched on this,
Yes.
but like you were saying, it's more about solving a problem
Yeah,
than just identifying and having like a fundamental research approach to something.
Yes.
So something that's interesting about the award is, of course, the cash prize itself is quite large, but there's also an award for future research. This is a 10 million NT award to support the laureates in whatever future research they want to conduct. Can you talk a little bit about why that's a part of the Tang Prize award and how you're hoping that these researchers are going to use that money?
Okay, it's also related to education and research. We know the future is for the young researcher and scholars. We think these awards will lead the young generations toward a better research area by the laureates. So we also like to see the guidance of laureates through the process by these 10 million NT dollars, so they can show the directions and work together with the young people. So we respect no matter how they did, but just limited to education and working together with young people. And then in this generation, people are usually look at the small parts. But what we encourage them, you have to look at the future. You have to think for the future of the earth, future of the people, future of the nations. So 201 Nobel laureates, Dr. Noyori, so he mentioned that he hoped the Tang Prize could become widely recognized and serve as the motivations for young students and researchers. He believed the students should make full use of the cultural heritage of the East, and by this he means its rich intellectual and philosophical traditions. If students can use these intellectual tools, finally attune to the harmony and the oneness of the world, and combine them with the intellectual tool provided by the West, such as scientific knowledge, then this productive merging of East and West could potentially provide a needed solution to the world's current problems. So he hopes the Tang Prize can serve to strike the ambitions of the youngs of today to work towards solving the 24th century's tough problems.
So another topic that I wanted to touch on is recently there's been a little bit of criticism of some major awards. For example, recently there was a commentary in the Nature Science magazine that was talking about the Breakthrough Prize in Life Sciences, and they were pointing out that many of the prizes were being granted for breakthroughs in medical advancements that helped people from developed countries but didn't help people in underdeveloped countries. So, for example, it wasn't focusing so much on malaria or diseases that affect poorer people. And so the point that they were making is that these prizes sometimes do have a lot of influence on where research is going to go and the direction that it's going to go in. And so if their priorities are kind of skewed in a particular direction, that might also skew where research is going. So I'm just curious, for the Tang Foundation, when you guys were formulating this prize, when you guys were putting it all together, did you give any thought to that? Is that something that you were thinking about? What kind of thoughts do you have on this?
Okay, if it's a fundamental science, you could have this kind of result through competitions. But the Tang Prize encouraged the cooperations. And we also, for all these issues, are related to not only to developed countries, also important to the developing countries. So if you have contributions all over the world, in any corners, and you show you did a good job and contributions to sustainable development, rule of law, and also for the sinology, okay, then, you can receive the award. So we encourage the cooperations, and all these are much broader areas, need more time, effort, and also cooperations with others.
So do you think that there's any way in which an award like this is going to help gain Taiwan a place in academic discourse and gaining a place in being involved in this kind of work and having a respected place in the world?
Oh, I think so. You see, during our selecting process, and also we are very happy to have all these world well-known laureates coming to Taiwan. Also, those jurors, they are all very outstanding people. And they come here, they will cooperate our universities, research institute. Yeah, by doing so, more cooperative research will happen. Okay, and also Taiwan is very good in industrial development. So they come here, maybe some of their idea we work together with our business people here, and also the environment here. We have many foreign investors. They come here, they also can share the knowledge and the opportunity to working together with all these intelligent laureates. So I'm sure that it will be beneficial to Taiwan as well.
So a moment ago you were saying that Eastern knowledge and Eastern study does have a significant contribution to make to the world, but you're also saying that the Tang Prize is really looking to support cooperation between people all over the world. Can you talk a little bit about why that cooperation is important and what kind of things you think Taiwan and other countries in Asia have to contribute through that cooperation?
From the East, we talk about the middle-minded. We treat the natures in this way as well. By doing so, we respect the nature. We respect the environment. Okay. We respect the senior people's intelligence. So with this kind of culture, that we hope the world can consider its parts during the evolutions of the world.
So later in the year, the Tang Foundation is organizing a Tang Prize Week. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going to be going on in that week and how people can get involved?
Yeah, we have a whole week for the Tang Prize Week to honor our Tang Prize laureates, but also to spread their thought, their knowledge to be shared by the world, especially for the people in Taiwan. Yeah. So the Tang Prize Week will start from September 15 to September 22nd. And then we have many activities, including the receptions in our National Palace Museum. They also have a special 10 dynasty exhibitions, okay, and we have exhibitions in our Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall, okay, about the laureates, about our medal competitions, and we have a concert, and we have the awarding ceremony and a banquet in Yansan Grand Hotel. So for all this activity, we will invite our foreigner to join us. Yeah, since this is a totally international event, yeah, we will organize and do all these activity majorly in English.
We've been speaking to Tang Prize Foundation CEO Jesse Chern. Jesse Chern, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
You can learn more at the Tang Foundation's website, tang-prize.org. Thanks for listening to Taiwan Talk. As always, we'd love to hear what you thought of today's program. You can leave us a comment on our Facebook page or rate and review Taiwan Talk on iTunes. And you can also leave a comment on ICRT's blog, where we've posted a few links to articles about the prize. For ICRT, I'm Keith Manconi.